Hey guys, this is Dhruv Neelkant from Speed Cubing Pune, and today I'm going to show you some patterns on the Rubik's Cube. So let's get started. Okay, so for this video I'm going to use algorithms. So you need to know the notation for this. So if you don't know the notation, please go and learn it, because without that you'll not be able to get these. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so the first pattern of today is the adjacent side checkerboard. Okay, so let's begin. F B2 RI D2 B R U DI R LI DI FI R2 D F2 BI. So here you can see the adjacent checkerboard, which means that the edges of three adjacent sides have been interchanged. So here in this case it's orange, blue and yellow. Here you can see it's yellow, red and white. So this was our first case. Now let's move on to the second case. Okay, so this case is also a checkerboard. It's called the opposite side checkerboard. Okay, so here we go. It's very easy. M2 E2 S2. Here you go. This is the opposite side checkerboard, where edges of their opposite sides have been flipped. Okay, now let's move on to the next case. Okay, so this pattern is called the spiral pattern. So okay, let's go. LI BI D U R UI RI D2 R2 D L DI LI RI F U. Here you go. This is called the spiral pattern. As you can see, this is a spiral. Well, this pattern looks better on bigger puzzles like the 6x6 and 7x7. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, so this pattern is called the vertical stripes. So here we go. F U F R L2 B DI R D2 L DI B R2 L F U F. So here you can see that vertical stripes have been formed. This. Okay, so now let's move on. Okay, so next is a cross. It's called an interchanging cross, where there are two crosses and the four corners of two sides are flipped or interchanged rather. So here it is. U F BI L2 U2 L2 FI B U2 L2 U. So as you can see that the blue and orange corners have been interchanged, and the green and red have been interchanged, and so the white and yellow. Okay, so next is the adjacent cross, which is pretty similar to the adjacent checkerboard. So let's begin. R2 LI D F2 RI DI RI L UI D R D B2 RI U D2. So here's the adjacent cross. As you can see that the corners of orange, blue and yellow have been changed, and the corners of red, white and green have been changed. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the next pattern is one of the crowd pleasers. It's the cube in a cube. Okay, here we go. F L F U I R U F2 L2 UI LI B DI BI L2 U. So there's the cube in a cube. Here you go. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the next pattern is also a crowd pleaser. It's a more complicated, more complex version of the cube in a cube. It's the cube in a cube in a cube. So let's see how we get that. UI LI UI FI R2 BI R F U B2 U BI L UI F U R FI. Okay, so here you can see there's this one layer, then there's another layer, and then the corners have been twisted using algorithms. So here you can see a cube in a cube in a cube. Let's move on. Okay guys, it's time for our last but not the least pattern. It's the super flip. It's the most difficult jumble. Even the computer takes 20 moves to solve it. 20 is the maximum number of moves taken by a computer to solve the Rubik's Cube. Okay, so let's see how it goes. U R2 F B R B2 R U2 L B2 R UI DI R2 F RI L B2 U2 F2. Okay, so in this all the pieces are in its original place, but they are flipped around. It's the longest number of moves taken by the computer to solve this. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hope it helped you. You can go and impress your friends with your patterns. So see you. Till then, keep cubing.